In this video, we'll be sketching the graph of a sine function. The problem that we'll be working on is to sketch the graph of y equals sine of the quantity x plus 3 pi over 4. Now the guidelines that we'll be working through is here. If you've not already done so, press pause and copy these guidelines in your notes. When you're ready to continue, press play. Now we'll be comparing our equation to this generic equation. So some things that we want to notice. Let's see, this would be y equals. And I don't have a number added to this sine term, either in the front or in the back. So my c value is actually 0 here. I'm going to write that so that we can be more clear on what's going on. Also, the coefficient of my sine is 1. Since there's no number visible, that means we have 1 times the sine. So I'll put that. And then the number multiplied by the parentheses. Notice I don't have a number other than 1 here multiplied by x. So I'm not going to need to factor out a b value. Since it's 1, I'll just write 1 here, and then open my parentheses. And then I need x subtract a value. So this will be the same then as x subtract a negative, and then 3 pi over 4. So this will give me values for each of these variables that I'll need for graphing. So my first step is to show that b is equal to 1. That's given right here. And then my next step is to find the amplitude. My amplitude is the coefficient of the sine here, and it's 1. So my amplitude is 1, and it's a positive, so I'll be starting at the center line and going up. My period is found with 2 pi over b, and we know that b is 1, so my period is 2 pi. My vertical translation is the c value, and again c is 0, so none, which means my center line is at the axis. And then my phase shift is this value here, and since I have plus 3 pi over 4, that means I'm going left, and we can see that it is left by this value. So left 3 pi over 4. My next step then is to draw the guidelines. My center line is at the axis since there's no vertical translation, and my amplitude is 1. My center line then, I'll mark that, and my amplitude is 1, so I'll put a dotted line for my max and a dotted line for my min. My next step in the guidelines is to find the beginning x value, which is my phase shift, or the d. So I'm going to be starting at a negative 3 pi over 4. And then to find my values where I'm going to plot points, I need to take my period and divide it into 4 equal parts. So my period is 2 pi, so 2 pi divided by 4 gives me pi over 2. So my starting value is negative 3 pi over 4. My next value, if I take negative 3 pi over 4 and add pi over 2 to that, I now have a negative pi over 4. And then when I add pi over 2 to that, I have pi over 4. And add pi over 2 to that, I have 3 pi over 4. And add pi over 2 to that, I have 5 pi over 4. Now these all have a common denominator, so I can go ahead and label my horizontal axis. I'll label it in fourths. So we said that we were going to start at the center line and head up. Since this is a sine curve, our starting point is at negative 3 pi over 4. So my center line is the axis. So I'll start right here and head up. My next value is at a negative pi over 4. So my max then is going to be here at negative pi over 4 at the maximum guideline here. And then my next point is at pi over 4. So that'll be back at the center line. And then 3 pi over 4, I'll be at my minimum value. And then at 5 pi over 4, I'll be at the center line again. Now I can draw my curve.